A nation is not its borders or the boundaries of its landmass. It is an assemblage of diverse people with a common purpose and a shared vision.
Imagine a place, a hub, where young, uprightly mobile professionals are infused with the spirit and character of Nehemiah.
At Nehemiahs Court, we equip individuals, build nations.
Nehemiahs Court is a hub, a hangout, a family, a collection of young individuals, young professionals who have a passion for a better life and above all for a better Nigeria.
In Nehemiahs Court, you feel the love, you feel the warmth, you feel the bond.
I mean, this is home, this is family.
We meet, we discuss, we bring societal involvement to the bare front.
The best place to be is a congregation of people that have like minds.
We build the individual.
The movement that will produce in Nigeria you pray for.
And I believe Nehemiah's Court to be instrumental to that future.
My name is Precious Kenko, aka Kenki Fresh, and I'm a member of Nehemiah's Court.
Come to Nehemiah's Court.
Trust me, you won't be enlisted in this army.
If you're not part of that group, you're missing something.
Join us at Nehemiah's Court.
I'm in.
6:15 is the time.
Welcome to Nehemiah's Court. All right, with a good God bless you, please let's celebrate Ufuoma McDermott.
Thank you so much. Hey guys, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. See, stop it. Just stop it, please. They made me dress up. I normally would not have come like this. I would have come to where I am, but they made me dress up. So please, let's pretend as if we're running things together. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Uncle, Happy New Year. Oh, so waiting be your name? Kingsley. You dey laugh? You know they laugh? I bet me you try laugh. Help me. Help me. Please tell somebody to laugh. I think I work well with very good energy. I work very well with noise. So we're going to make noise. Abi worry girl, we like noise. Area. 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 Hey, Jesus. Where are my area people? Oh, sorry. They say this is Lekki. Sorry. Area. Okay. Let me start with this. I hate conferences. I hate gatherings like this. I do not like conferences. I do not like reading inspirational books. I like reading novels. I like romance. I like to know about the boy who meets the girl and how he gets the girl and how they end up happily ever after. I like stories. I hate conferences. You know why? Because I think we have become perpetual hearers. We just hear and hear and hear and hear. So I'm going to assure you that there's almost nothing new that you're going to hear. It's probably something you heard in one of the conferences you attended last year, or the year before, or the one before that. So I'll tell you what I think the problem is. We don't have enough doers. Can I hope that after today we would do something? Who would promise me that after today we'll go home and try to say, I want to do? So you take down some pointers, not all your notes, just a few pointers and say, I will try do this one, I will try do this one. How many of you will promise me? Okay, thank you. Very, very quickly. So I read French language. So every time I'm called to speak, I always start with definitions, and people wonder why. I need you to understand what it is you're saying. Sometimes we don't understand what we're saying, so we don't get the picture of what we're saying. So I'm going to be a bit of a headmistress this evening. To become. To become is a verb. And it's a verb that requires completion. So almost in any language, if you're learning a language, the first verb you learn is to be. In French, how many of you speak French? Okay, nobody. In French, there's the verb être, to be. It's the first verb you learn to conjugate. In the English language, it's actually the first verb you conjugate. However, because of the structure of the English language, you do not even know that you are learning or conjugating that verb. So every verb in the English language has the verb before it, but it's a bit silent. Okay? So before you can do anything, you have to be. I am, you are, he is, she is, they are, no, we are, They are, that's boy, girl, they are, and then we are. Okay, so conjugated in every sector. The verb to become is a verb to be. So it means, to actually get the meaning of the word, it means to begin to be. To begin means to start. Now you understand why I hate conferences. Because when you go for another conference, you're beginning again. You're not continuing from the last one. Do you understand? Please don't get me wrong. I didn't say stop going for conferences. I'm just saying do more of what you hear. Yeah? Old English of the origin of to become is bukamen. It means to come to a place, to be something or to do something. It's of Germanic origin, related to the Dutch bekommen or the German bekommen, meaning to get or to receive. Let me sound, please, how many of us are not Christians here? Who is not a Christian? Okay, so we're all Christians. Okay, I'm going to go hear church today. Church. Follow me, I'm going somewhere. I'm going to see church today. Okay, so it's a verb that requires completion. So normally when you have a verb, if you say to, I want to sit, it's a full sentence. I want to sit. I want to eat, it's a full sentence. But if you say I want to become, it requires completion. It's not complete, right? So there are certain verbs that rely on something else, a noun or another verb to be complete, and to become is one of those things, or one of those verbs. Now, the most popular accompanying phrases for the word to become are usually led by verbs. Please, try to understand why I'm using dictionary meanings. A verb is a, please, what's a verb? There's another way they say it in primary school. A doing word. That's why I'm actually going through these meanings, because we need to start doing. Right? So a verb is an action word or a doing, I prefer a doing word because it kind of helps what I'm saying this evening. So now it is led by, the most popular accompanying phrases is usually led by verbs. So come to be. How many of you have heard that phrase? Come to be. Get to be. Turn out to be. Grow to be. Get to be. Turn to be, made to be, assigned to be, nominated to be, elected to be. It still needs a completion. It's still not complete. Did you realize that? With all the accompaniments we have given to it. Now, another meaning of become is to suit. So I can say that dress becomes you. Do you know what that means? That dress suits you. That dress fits you. You look good in that dress. So to become can also mean to suit. It can mean how does my pastor do that thing? My note disappeared. It can mean to flatter, to look good on, to sit right, to show advantage, enhance, or go well with. To become can also mean behove. It becomes her to speak against domestic violence. It is suitable for her. It is befitting of her. It is her duty. It is her responsibility. It is appropriate. It is obligatory of her to speak against domestic violence. So to an extent, you understand how become can create an atmosphere around you. Do we understand so far? Just the verb. Don't think too deep. Just very surface, the verb to become. Yeah? Okay, so let's talk about a process. And in all honesty, this is, in the whole of the topic, I think the process is the main thing. Everything else is just to make a complete sentence, to become. The process, the prize. It's, just to sound nice. The main thing, the main catch is the process. What is a process? It's a series of actions. Today is an action day. You're going to be hearing a lot of action words and doing words. So a process is a series of actions. There's no dictionary you check that process comes in singular form. It is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. In this case, our verb will be complete when you achieve that end. So to become, do we understand? So do I need to read process again? It is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. That particular end is what completes our to become. Right, so let me give you an example of processes. The aging process is a series of natural series or changes. A manufacturing process is a series of mechanized or chemical operations performed systematically. What is a pregnancy process? To become pregnant, for example, it is a process. You cannot pray yourself to pregnancy. That one saved day. You can fall pregnant. That one day. However, falling pregnant requires a process. Are you with me? It is a process. So basically, you first of all have to have a menstrual cycle, and after that you have ovulation, and after ovulation there's copulation, and after copulation there's conception. So it's the process of falling pregnant. You didn't know that there was a process, Abi? Your wife just told you one day we're expecting a baby. There's a process, right? So someone says chances are, I heard this from, hey, what's that man's name? The former Akwa Ibom State Governor, Akpabio. I think he's one very intelligent man. He says, if a man suddenly wakes up rich, chances are he wasn't sleeping. You enter. I think that thing has lived with me for the longest time. I say, what? If a man suddenly wakes up rich, chances are he wasn't sleeping. So I started painting a mental picture. How is it even possible? So every day I'm thinking, I want to be rich, I want to be rich. And my mind is dwelling on Otedola, Adenuga, and Dangote, and I'm following their progress in life. And then suddenly I see them at an event, 3 of them are standing. And then this young boy just comes and I know they say, Ugo, how you doing now? Ugo. I say, how come all of them know this boy name? Who be this boy? I'm like, oh, whatever. And then I see footage of them in another event. And then this Ugo boy comes again. They say, Ugo, how you doing now? How is that project? I say, this one just came from nowhere and Dangote is calling his name up and down. Chances I'm the one who just knew Ugo. Ugo has been working since. Ugo has been doing things to get to the point where I suddenly notice him with my 3 idols of financial breakthrough. So when I'm just seeing someone else, this boy from nowhere, I'm just seeing him everywhere in Dangote, who will be safe? The fact that you're just waking up doesn't mean he's just waking up, right? So there is a process. Wait, to make this note never go. Okay, so everything goes through a process. Everything, no matter what it is that you want to do, everything will go through a process. Trust me, even destruction goes through a process. Even destruction goes through a process. Okay, so let's talk about the prize. The prize is a thing given as a reward to the winner of a competition or in recognition of outstanding achievement. Please, I'll read it again and I'll separate it into 2, then I'll talk about the 2. A prize is a thing given as a reward to the winner of a competition or in recognition of an outstanding achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in the Lord, this life when you come to competition, the only thing is that you need to know who or what you are competing against. Did you get that? Let me go to the other part. That's the first part, so I'm not talking more than that in the first part. The second part is giving in recognition of an outstanding achievement. Now let me tell you why this part will agree with the first part. For whatever you do to be outstanding enough to be regarded as an achievement, it has to be in comparison with what is on ground already. That right there is competition. So if I'm making a film and we're trying to calculate box office numbers, they're going to calculate box office numbers in comparison to the box office numbers that already exist. Excuse me, I'm not going to be a standalone, box office success and say, oh, I made 50 million. But Figurine made 50 million. Why are you making noise? That there is already a competition. What I'm trying to say is this, and I really, really hope that as Christians, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you a bit more of a personal question. How many of us are born again? Sorry. How many of us are not born again? Okay. So as born again Christians, they tell me to talk to Christians. As Christians, you see, there are certain things that we need to understand. A lot of us are lazy. A lot of us are ignorant. A lot of us are outrightly dumb. Christians, sorry, not Christians, born again, no. The majority of us, ignorant, lazy, and outrightly dumb. If I take a statistics of all of us in this room and I ask you certain things about the industry in which you work today, a lot of you do not know past your desk and maybe your neighbor desk. Christians, we they do like that where we? Now our way. We get to the office and we think, the first thing we should do is pray. Take somebody's person when pay rent for office, more taking time, they pray. They speak in tongues, speak in tongues, speak in tongues. Then God will come down and do our work for us. We're outrightly ignorant. We don't have a statistics of what is going on in our industry. We don't have an idea of what should be the benchmark of what we regard as success. We don't know. And if you ask yourself those questions right now, you know that I'm telling the truth. And so how do you even know what you're competing against? How do you even know what should be competition? How does that then tell you whether your process is right or not? So let's imagine that people don't forget 50 million for box office. You, for your mind, you think say 50 million are where you're supposed to be, and you are struggling to, all your calculations, if you can just make 50 million. Meanwhile, people, your mates are thinking of 500 million because that's where the industry is operating at that point in time. But because you are so myopic, you're in that your bubble, small bubble with prayer and fasting, it's 50 million that you have limited yourself to. A lot of us are grossly ignorant, and so we don't even understand the things that we should be doing. I really pray that I'm tired of seeing Christians down the ladder, and I know what the problem is, but like I said, it's very tiring to talk to Christians because you're almost automatically labeled an infidel or a... Someone I know who is, she's not quite a minister, she's not a pastor, but she ministers in this present house every now and again. She fired someone in her office for praying during work hours. She told him to pack his load and be going, since he wanted to pray. Yeah, go home and pray. We don't understand what it is that we should be doing, so we don't even know what our processes should be. That's the truth. That's the sad truth. Yeah. Okay. So your price is your completion or your goal. Whatever that verb, however you complete the verb to become is your goal. So very randomly, give me a completion. To become financially free. Successful is a bit vague. To become a doctor, thank you. I think I have that example. Okay, so it means that when you become a doctor, that is your price. That's your end goal, right? So to become a doctor, let me quickly go to doctor since I have that here. So your completion or your goal is your price. Now, sometimes in getting to your goal, there are byproducts. Before you reach where you go. So let's say you're in medical school, and if you're a hustler like me, I remember in my year one, myself and my sister had a fridge. I don't like to cook. My sister would cook and put stuff in. I mean, in school, it was a small, fridge. So the freezer was like this small. Nothing could go into it, so it was empty. And I didn't used to cook. I didn't like to cook, but I used to eat her food there. So one day I looked at the freezer, I'm like, why is it empty? So we'll go home, like Ugo said, our house was around Bagada there. I'll go home on Sundays from school. I was in Unilag, go home, and there was a Fun Ice depot close to the house. I'll take my pocket money, buy ice cream and yogurt, stock the fridge. And I think at a point I started leaving school during the week to restock, just because the freezer was empty and I needed it to be full, So it was just an opportunity I saw. So let's say you're in med school, for example, you're studying to become a doctor, and you realize that students' jackets, they dirty wear. They wear white, lab coats or whatever, and you say, why can't I just get someone to sew these things and, come and sell, and then maybe I'll even get someone to iron and wash them. And you set up that business going. It's not your goal. Your goal is to be a doctor. But in the process, you started catering to lab coats and those kind of services. That's a byproduct. Not be where you go with that too. Not be your bus stop. But that's something that happened on the side. So there are byproducts to your price, to your goal. And if you're smart, you gather so many byproducts that the price becomes an icing on the cake. It becomes almost a sealant. When you get, there's some goals that people have in life. Like I remember saying to my brother, when my brother graduated tops in his class, and I remember saying to him, like, what's all the fuss with 2-1 at the end of the day? And he says to me, for my nothing really, it's just to massage your ego. And I don't know that he has worked a day with it. He's in Australia now, and he studied, did another course. He's, a lawyer now. So really, it was to massage his ego. I have a master's degree, and nobody has ever asked me, "Never, when it comes to this film, they say you get masters." Nobody has asked me. So I think all of that one really was just to massage my ego, right? So you need to understand what the aim is. I went to school, did a first degree, did a master's degree. Was my end goal? Did I want to teach? No. I think I just needed enough knowledge to put certain things together in life. So even those degrees were byproducts of what my goal was. So if you're wise, and this is why I'm asking us, please, especially as born again, I don't know what it is that clouds us, but it does. We don't see opportunities. I don't know why. I don't know why. Either you think that those opportunities are distractions, or you think they are demonic. I don't know. Do you understand? I don't know. Maybe you feel like it's the devil. No, they're actually byproducts to, getting to your price. And trust me, they're beautiful. Because at the end of the day, you might have to employ somebody to do the washing and ironing of people's lab coats, and you've employed someone. You've given someone gainful employment, right? So that byproduct has not just added something to your life, it has added to someone else's life. How cool is that, right? Okay. Now, there's something else that is not in our topic that I've added, and when I went to film school, I studied acting, then I went back again, I studied filmmaking, and then I studied directing. When I studied acting in LA, there was something our teacher, our lecturer always did that used to annoy me. God, I didn't understand why they were doing it. So they'll give us something to read, maybe a sides, so two people would read a dialogue. And then when we finish reading the dialogue, he would look at us without saying anything. He would look at us and go, "How do you feel?" See, you're by me. How am I supposed to feel? Now you go tell me whether I read that well or I not read that well. What do you mean by how do you feel? This thing continued for some time, and I just couldn't. I had to ask him one time, and I said, I don't understand. Why do you always ask how we feel after reading? You give us a side. If we didn't take it how you wanted it, you tell. See, now from Nollywood I come. From Nollywood, director will tell me how to act out. There's nothing like use your own. Your own is not valid. The director will tell you, this part, I want you to cry like this. When you finish crying, then you go come back. Then you go wait, then you go walk up, then you go come back and cry again. I was coming from a space where I was told what to do. So here was someone asking me to do something without instructions, without directions. I'd do it, and then he'd ask me how I felt. So I said to my lecturer I said, I don't understand. What's this thing about how do you feel? How do you feel? Everybody, even the visiting lecturers that came to our class would do that, and they say, how do you feel? I said, is this a thing? Is this supposed to be some cool thing I don't know about? And he said to me, the essence of an actor, or rather the essence of a character, is his why. So very quickly, inside my 30 minutes, I'm going to turn here into film school. Let's take one popular movie that we can all talk about. King of Boys. How many of us have seen King of Boys? Hey, whoa. Richo. Chineke. Okay, let's go Hollywood. This is not nice. Wedding Party. Okay, go. How many of us saw Wedding Party? Okay, quite a sizable number. Can we do Wedding Party, or should we change to Sound of Music or something? Should we change? Are we good with Wedding Party, or should we change? Wedding Party. How many people saw it? Okay, let's do. See? He said New Village Headmaster. Not too many people saw it. So let's use Wedding Party, for example. Let's use, what was Auntie Shola's character name now? She had this nickname that Ali Baba was calling her. Tintin. So now, let's talk about her essence. In the whole story, what did she want? What did she want? So remember, the movie started with, her daughter getting married, and then we got to the wedding, and then we saw her in-laws, trying to drag status and all of that. What did her character want? Who can remember? Spotlight. She wanted to show the in-laws, say themselves their day. That was her essence in the whole story. From the start of the story, remember even when her daughter was getting dressed, there was a phone call or something where, someone told her husband about Owen or something. From the beginning of the story, we see that already they were kind of like in financial trouble. But for her, that wedding was, we must tell them that we are still, what's their name, cokers or something, that we're still, that was her essence. That is the why of the character. Now, when my lecturer explained that, I began to understand, I began to appreciate characterization more. It means that for every character you play in a movie, there is a why. Your character has a reason in that whole story. And guess what? Filmmaking is a reflection of life. We're all characters, and we all have an essence. What is your why? Someone said to become financially stable. Why? Why do you want to be financially stable? Someone else said to become a doctor. Why do you want to be a doctor? If you find your why, it will be enough reason to make you understand what your process should be, and it will make you work extremely hard to go through your process to claim your prize. That why is the most important thing in your life. If you find it, you have found your full purpose. Let me quickly put everything into context. I have about 10 minutes. Let me quickly put everything into context. I learned something from Jumoke Adinowo. She said one time that the natural order of life is an upward growth. The natural order of life, the natural thing that would happen by default is an upward growth unless there is an obstruction. If you are looking at Balumo today and you just carelessly throw the seed and you walk away, chances are you come back 2 years later and there's a tiny tree there, or a shrub, or whatever it's called, a herb. Chances are. If you're washing beans and you forget to peel one and it just goes through the sink and lands in some garden somewhere, chances are it would actually grow, unless there's an obstruction. So I'm going to spend the rest of my time talking about obstructions. Actually, I'm going to talk about only one obstruction. And that's the biggest obstruction, and that is you. You are your biggest obstruction. There are other obstructions, don't get me wrong, but I just want to talk about one, and that's you. So let's talk about the things that might obstruct that agbalumo seed or the beans. What are the things? At least you all did integrated science. I'm not asking for chemistry and physics now. We all did integrated science, Abi. What are the things that can cause an obstruction to that bean seed or the agbalumo seed to not grow? Soil. Okay, why? Okay, if it doesn't fall on a conducive soil or a good enough soil, yes, it wouldn't grow. That one saved day. If it's growing, it sprouts out and someone just decides, be like, this thing looks like grass, and they nip it off, then it's gone. What else can be an obstruction? Might just get eaten by my goat. Poor sunlight or lack of sunlight can actually obstruct it. What else? Bad weather, yes. Actually, the seed can actually get blown before it even has a chance to root down, and that's it. Anything else? Someone said? Weeds, yes, weeds can actually choke it. It can also, like someone here said, grow amongst weeds and just get cut off. Someone said something. Rock. Did you say rock? How? Okay, if it falls or if a rock gets thrown on it, yes, it will suffocate it. Okay, so it means that to life, there are a whole lot of things that might obstruct you. I want to assume that you all know the things that might obstruct your verb, your end goal, whatever it is you want to become. But I want to talk about you, and I want to talk about some things that might obstruct you, by you. Fubu, for you, by you. Low self-esteem. I shouldn't have put this one as number one. Number one, I should have put born again. Born again is such an obstruction. I don't know why. Man, what's wrong with us, guys? What's wrong with us? We just have this way of, we know the soji. Why? Yeah. Anyways. Okay, so low self-esteem. Sometimes you feel like, I shouldn't. I can't. Why should I? How can I? And you know all those things that just begin to play the baddest songs in your head. And you say, okay, well, let me just remain inside this, I'm okay where I am. First of all, you can't even be my friend if you're okay where you are. Anybody that does not aspire to buy private jet in this life, you cannot even be my friend. If you don't want to have a boat sailing in the south of France, you cannot be my friend. It's a sin in my books. You can't be okay. It's not okay to be okay. I don't like being okay. I mean, more just try. More try say we won't buy boat, more come buy canoe. Do you understand me? Well, let's try. Let's just try. Comparison to others. That's a big challenge. Now, we need to learn to draw the line. Remember I said that life is a competition. In that competition, you need to learn to draw the line and understand where comparison should not be part of your game. It's difficult. It's difficult, and it requires a lot of wisdom. It requires a lot of wisdom to know where that line is drawn. It's very thin. I don't even know if there's a line safe. It's like salt and fresh water are clashing, so there's really no line. Sometimes the line is here, sometimes it's here, sometimes it's here. But you need to understand where, to position yourself. At what point you realize that you need to look at the picture holistically and say, okay, this is the competition, as in this is where I should be playing. This is where my playing field should be. And then there's another essence of you that should understand where to say, no, it's not because she's MD doesn't mean that, my fight should be to be MD or whatever. Do we understand? It's very thin, but, I pray we get that sense. Even me, I don't even know where to tell you the line is. Regrets. So it's okay to regret, but I have a problem with people spending too much time in regrets. Is it okay to regret, Seth? See, I've learned something, See, this life I can't give myself. See, it's okay to, let me tell you what regrets should be. What it should be is to say, oh, I shouldn't have done it this way. Reassess and say, okay, let's try it this way. But you see, a lot of us spend so much time killing ourselves, beating ourselves up. You can't do anything about it, too. You've done it. I promise you've done it. You see, even the mistakes you make on a paper and you erase, if I put that paper under light, I can see your mistake. Even though it's no longer there on the paper, it's imprinted. You know what? I learned something from someone. He said, I was talking to him, I was joking, and I said, anytime you wake up, now your morning. And he said, Ufuoma, have you ever processed that saying? And he put it this way. He said, chances are you'd wake up one day and say, oh boy, 10 years ago, me and Linda left school, and we decided that we wanted to start this acting thing. I just left it. Boy, see where Linda do. Now, at that point, you're sitting back and you're looking at what 10 years has done for Linda. And what you've forgotten is that if you start now, 10 years from now, when Linda is counting 20 years, you can count your 10 years. So in another 2 years, everybody you say, oh boy, see Linda. Oh. Man, me and Linda go film school now. Oh boy, Linda don't go. Another year, see Linda. I'm not for school now. And 2 of us, we see that together that year. 3 years don't go. 4th year, you're still doing it. Forgetting that at the time you regretted, if you had started then, if you add inside your own 10 years, do you understand? So really and truly, when there's any time you wake up now your morning, it simply means start now. Now is never late. Now is never late. Anytime your brain resets, please just... Okay. Comparison, regret. I talked about laziness and complacency already. But I know I joked about it, but a lot of us are very complacent and we're okay. We're okay. I'm almost tempted to say there's nothing wrong with being okay, but I think there's everything wrong in it. I think there's everything wrong in it because why be this when you can be this? Do you understand? For me, it doesn't make any sense. Some people are just, okay, I want to get a job, I'm able to pay my house rent, pay my children's school fees, and that's it, we live. What is wrong with going to the Bahamas? Your body, they forbid good thing. Your hand, not the feel wear Rolex. I don't understand. Why should you be here when you can be here? That's always my problem with complacency. I've seen people who are diligent at what they do, but they're just okay. I was asking my friend the other day, I came back from Abuja yesterday, and she said there was an exam that they had to write, a promotion exam, and this girl can read book for Africa. I said, what are you reading? What are you writing exam for again? She said, oh, it's for promotion. I said, does everybody have to write the exam? Like, if I just wake up and I look and I'm okay, do I have to go and start reading for exam at this age in somebody's life? And she said to me, I said, well, I mean, if people are okay with what they pay, and she said, Ufuoma, who in this world is okay with ministry payment? And I thought about it, and it would amaze you that some people are. It would amaze you that some people are okay. Maybe as they did for ministry there, by their days that they said chewing gum and sweet, they are okay. They're not going to read for that exam. They're probably just going to, because she said it's obligatory, you must register for the exam. They'll just register for the exam and they won't show up. Because they can't keep their set, they cannot bother their heads to begin to read. But why? If you can be more, why not? You know, come on, guys. Okay, you know what? If you're okay with life, please have more and come and give me. Do you understand? Please, for my sake, just be okay with paying your house rent and school fees. Any excess that you don't need, I forward you my account details. Just send it to me. So I'm basically almost done. Now, a lot of people there, first of all, to become means, for pidgin, you don't reach. To become, that's it. You don't reach. Now, for a lot of people, to complete their to become, it requires money. Think of it for 10 seconds. What is your to become? To become what? Now, how many of you require money to become? Okay, so very quickly, 5 minutes, let me do my no money analogy. So I was talking to a young person. Oh, God, everybody here will know my example. I can't give it. Oh, my God. So there are guys that a lot of us know. How many of you were in children's choir with me? Come put your hands down. You wanted to know come put your hands down. Okay, who else was in children's choir with me? They go no. I hope you people will know this person. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a worthy example, so it doesn't matter if you know who it is. So how many of you know Agape Connection, or you heard of Agape Connection? Of course. So the Agape Connection was a group in the children's choir that we belonged to, and they were like a rap group. And I learned something very, very important from that group, even after they ceased to become a group. 3 of them really loved music, and we grew up, we went to school, and we went into our various fields, and of course, we're no longer in children's choir. And one of them today, he's still a music producer, Henry. Henry is still a music producer. The other one, Jimmy, started working with a printing press. And I remember when I started making calendars as an actress, I'd go to him and we'd sit down and we'd talk. And I always said to him, like, what's going on? I mean, they were like a super group when we were little. I'd go to him and I'll say, what's going on with your dreams to be a music star? Like, what's happening? And he'd say, just calm down, just chill, just chill. Not much later, he stopped working. He, got his own company, started doing his own printing stuff. And then I remember very well that day we were in Delta Square, Saba, in Uduagan's office. That's what they call it, like my mates. In Governor Emmanuel Uduagan's office. And this music came up, and I saw J-Bone's SOS. And instinctively, I didn't even know. I just said, oh my God, I know him. Oh my God, we're in children's choir together. And everybody just looked at me. And then the governor said, as you don't disturb us, so if this song no sweet, you go see what I will do. I said, Jimmy, you better make this song sweet. Don't fall my hands. And that's how we listened to the song. And oh boy, this song's sweet. So I called Jimmy up and I was talking. I was like, I'd always talk to you about music. You made me feel like it was out the door. What happened? And he said, a lot of us have dreams, and those dreams require funding. And until you can get funding, until you can get money to fund your passion will die. You know what that taught me? That a lot of young people are lazy and they don't know the right places to look for funding for their passion. So the no money analogy is very simple. You have to get money. That's the analogy. It means that if you don't have money, you have to look for it. It means that if I need money to buy a printing press, I've got to do something to earn money. It means that I probably come to your house and I say, Madam, your compound is dirty. Can I sweep it? How much would you pay me to sweep it? You say 50 naira. I say, Madam, give me 55 naira. Okay? And then I start sweeping it. That's the first step. Guess what the next step is? It's a very stupid step. It's called savings. How many of us save? Wait, don't put your hand up. No, lie, don't put your hand up. Let me explain savings to you. When I was in SS2, my brother, the same one in Australia now, sent me a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. Have we read the book? Have you read the book? Do you do what the book says? Or are you just reading? Okay, so from Richest Man in Babylon, I realized that a lot of us earn money, but we do not pay ourselves. You earn money, you buy a nice shoe. So the shoemaker earns a living from your living. We buy a nice watch. The watchmaker earns a living from your living. You buy Wivon. The hairdresser earns money from your living. What do you pay yourself from your living? Right. So you might want to go and read that book again. Yeah? So what I realized is that from 55 naira, you must save. It doesn't matter whether 55 naira is enough to take care of your livelihood. As a matter of fact, I learned from Ibukwan Woshika that if you cannot live on 40% to 50% of your earnings, you are probably living above your means. That's a hard one, considering that all of us in Nigeria in Lagos at least, want to be cool. It's a hard one, but it's the truth. If you cannot live, if you can't survive, your total existence cannot live on 40 to 50% of your earnings, you are probably living above your means. But guess what? Let me tell you why I said savings was a very difficult one. Out of the 55 naira she pays me to sweep her compound, do you know that if I keep 10 naira, I'll still be all right? It will be difficult, but last, I go do okay. Do you know why? Because chances are she might not have even employed me. If she didn't give me the job, will I not survive? So now you have seen 45 naira, you're still saying it's not enough. Do you understand now? No matter what it is that you earn, if you take out of it, you'll be all right. Because things happen. God forbid if there's an emergency, now you take out of that 55 naira. And you'll be okay. See, I'll be okay. Last, you'll be all right. I think that's where we miss it as young people. A lot of us do not save. And sadly, a lot of our become is tied to money. Where are you going to get it from? Nobody is keeping money waiting for you. Nobody. So, yeah, I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.